Destiny 2 community, how are we feeling about Edge of Fate? 1 to 10. Can I get a poll? Can I get a poll on this shit? We've got 9 to 10 hyped, 6 to 8 cautiously optimistic, 4 to 5 mid, 0 to 3 shite. So right now poll results are coming in and most of the people are saying they're cautiously optimistic. However, there's more people saying that the expansion looks mid rather than people saying they're hyped. It's actually a lot more people. 27% say that Edge of Fate looks mid to them. Only 10% are at hype levels. The reason why we're doing these polls like this, we did one just like this last year for Final Shape, and everybody was hyped. Dude, the hype levels were insane last year. And because it's interesting because initially it wasn't. But does the culmination? There wasn't no duh about it, dude. January of last year, everyone thought it could be over. Think about this. November 2023, layoffs, key people leaving Bungie, delays for Marathon, delays for Final Shape. You were talking about like morale. January of last year, morale was so fucking low, dude. So fucking low. But then it happened. Guardian games rolled out. That was the first domino. Bungie started to mix things up. Gave us a skimmer. Didn't think much about it. Just thought it's kind of cool, man. Then we see Into the Lights. And we were like, what the f? We finally got a horde mode? Is this real? And it brought back all of these fantastic weapons that we've lost over the years. And they brought them back even better. But then third, we get hit with the Pantheon. We've got the Pantheon events, and we've got back-to-back raid encounters going against some of the best raid encounters ever given to us, with some slight twists and tweaks here and there, making them even better. You can't tell me that the hype and the ride going into Final Shape, there was nothing like it, dude. Nothing fucking like it, man. When we did this poll last year after the Final Shape showcase, after that Vidoc, after the first time you guys saw Prismatic, everybody lost their shit. Everybody lost their shit. And high levels were high, man. Let me ask you guys something. And I think being cautiously optimistic is always the best way to be. Because the last time I went into anything inside of Destiny where I just had blind hype was Lightfall. So being cautiously optimistic is probably the good side to stay on. However, for my folks, because we had a large percentage of you say that Edge of Fate looks mid. What about Edge of Fate looks mid to you? Or what expectations are not being met for you for this upcoming expansion? No new subclass. No vault space. Nothing special at all. No new solar system. Nothing new. Zero innovation. All of our loot is useless. No more crafting. Same stuff, different destination. Reissued gear again. More grinding for the sake of grinding. No Wrath of the Machine. Dude, you know what's crazy? We're going back to the Plague Lands in September. I don't think Bungie's going to drop Wrath of the Machine, or they would have already announced they were going to do so. But man, can you imagine the hype levels? So something we try to make very, very clear yesterday in our video on the essentially our thoughts on Edge of Fate was that the new abilities, they're destination abilities, essentially what they are, right? It's way more interactive than Deep Sights. It is way more interactive than Deep Sights. But I understand the comparison that's being made there. When I said that the systematic changes that are coming to Destiny are some of the biggest we ever seen, I'm specifically talking about armor, which is a major change. Like without a doubt, the armor, the tier system with the armor and the tier system for our weapons and the stat changes are some of the biggest systematic changes. And unfortunately, it may not be sexy enough. That's the problem. It's like, ooh, you can go to 200 in a stat and you can get armor sets. All right. That to me, that's fucking dope. Because I live for that shit. But to somebody that's like just here for the eye candy, who wants to see a new subclass or potentially a new rarity or like a new weapon type, you know what I mean? I know not much has been shown on that front, but like that big ticket item, I get it, wasn't necessarily shown. Put it this way, we can get those things even if we don't pay for the new expansion. So why pay? Great point. Great point. You're talking about some, you're talking about the stat armors and the tiers and stuff like that. Well, obviously you can't get access to the new stuff for sure. And if you guys are on the, dare I say, the edge about it all, then don't buy, don't pre-order, wait, chill, see what it looks like. See what Bungie shows us in the next live stream that they do, because they've got 2 live streams coming out here soon. Now we're going to redo all of our dim loadouts. All right, let me just, Destiny community, let me just hit you with some of this. You guys asked for like D3 features. you ask for a sequel level change, and the armor changes are what I would consider like a D3 level change. That's a systematic change. You can't ask for these things and then get mad when those things come simply because you gotta change a dim loadout. Listen, guys, what do you want? Because when you give me your feedback on what you want, I walk away from it. You say things like, we want the seasonal model to change. I take said information. I go to Bungie. I say, hey, they want the seasonal model to be changed. And they go, okay, we're going to try the tonic system. And then you guys are like, boo, this shit. It's worse than the fucking seasonal model. I say, hey, what would you like differently with the next expansion? And many of you brought up the fact that you don't care for destinations. Many of you brought up the fact that you go into a destination, you do requests, and then you leave. And we use Neomuna as a great example of that, where most people do Neomuna for the campaign, for Lightfall, and then they piece the fuck out and they never go back after they grinded the weapons. So what do? I take said information, I go, Bungie, the people want to invest in the destinations. They want to explore the destination in the world. And then Bungie goes, all right, Metrovania. We're going to give you a Metroidvania style or whatever, Metro Prime. I don't know what the fuck it is. I didn't ever play the games. But that's the take. And then you guys are like, boo this shit. I don't want to play that boomer ass fucking Metroid games. I don't know. Maybe some of you did. Some of you fucking played it. I have actually never played it. Hasn't Marathon been in production for 6 years now? If Bungie can only get this much shit done in 6 years, how am I supposed to trust them to make quality Destiny 3 in 3 to 5 years? The difference is that it's not an entirely new game. Destiny, the bones of Destiny 2 is still going to exist, and that's essentially what the D3 is being. When I say a D3 is coming, I'm not talking about you're going to get a D3 in 3 to 5 years. What I'm saying is the features that would be in a Destiny 3 will make its way inside of Destiny 2. And this is a step in that direction with the whole armor and stat changes. Again, though, I completely understand why something like that is not sexy. It's not sexy to you. A new subclass coming, that's such an easy sell. Hey, should I buy this expansion? Do you want to play with the new subclass? Yeah, then you better buy. You know what I mean? Like such an easy sell. Another easy sell, new rarity of weapons. If there was like an actual like mythic or black armory tier, you guys would be like, I'm buying. Let's fucking do this shit. The problem is that these changes that are coming are necessary changes, truly are necessary changes for the long-term health of Destiny. However, they don't have the same appeal as a new subclass or a new rarity, or you know what I mean. It doesn't necessarily have that at least initial appeal. So why didn't they just do more system changes and just do the content later? You're telling me, hold on. If Bungie came out and said, hey, guys, for the next year, we have no content rolling out. Nothing to push the narrative forward. We're just going to do quality of life updates for the next year. Some of it's going to be really, really boring, but it's necessary. Goodbye, player base. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. I'll see you guys at 2027. That's exactly what would fucking happen. The player base is already gone, TBH. Whoa! You know what? I'm tired of all this shit talking right now. Well, the Power World's beating us. And Overwatch 2. But we're beating fucking Farming Simulator. Look at that shit. Yeah, fuck you, Farming Sim. And look at Monster Hunter Wilds. Lol. Look, we can go on and on about the numbers. I get it. People are not playing as much Destiny. This is kind of what concerns me a little bit. This is just Google Trends, right? We're around here. Hold on. So in in May, we got to about a 20. Right here, 24 around February. That's when the new season launched. All right. This was finer shape. It was popping, baby. Shit was popping. Beat out Lightfall. Beat out Witch Queen, man. Popping, brother. So right here, we don't compare it to May of last year because that's whenever the game was launching, or June was whenever Finer Shape was launching. So we don't compare to that. But okay, so we're operating right now. We're at about roughly a 15. Okay, 16, 15, 16. Maybe you say with upper 20. Whereas last year we were consistently starting here above April the 7th, above a 30 at all times going into the expansion. Are we at an all-time low? Actually, no. Our lowest low was here. December 22nd to the 28th. We were at a 9. By the way, this obviously doesn't tell the complete story. This is purely just traction. how many times people were dialing in looking for Destiny 2 content. But it is an indicator. It definitely is an indicator, or you wouldn't see these spikes here with each one of these big annual expansions. You see where I'm coming from? You can go back. Every one of these spikes coincided with the release of content, if not a release, some sort of big reveal. So without a doubt, we're this territory right here, up in here. That's no bueno. That's no bueno. All right, so this is showing the average. We had 77,000 players in January 2025. So hold on. Look at this, pre-Lightfall. So I would say April 2023 going into May, solid. Look at this shit. Hold on, look at this shit. 145, 126, 87, 120, 192, 142, 312, 316, 96, 121. Lowest got down to 60K, 102, 150, 193, 103. Lowest 88, lowest 78, lowest 76. Yo, these are fucking fantastic numbers here on Steam, man. Hold on, you can actually, okay, here we go. June 2023, 62K. May, look, you gotta understand, Lightfall wasn't considered shit. There was some beginnings of it, but there was still some level of optimism. You know what I mean? So May, 78, April, 87. Okay, that's Lightfall. February, 72, 63, 62. Damn, 38. 59, 88, 68, 54, 70. So it isn't always 70. All right, fast forward to where we are now. 27, 22, 30. Expansion dropped. Season 40. January 18. December 20, 30, 36, 25, 35. Look, guys, you can't sit here and say we cooking, baby. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and say that. And look, I'm not blaming anything. I mean, look, it's a variety of things. And again, you guys have brought up a great point. A lot of people saw Final Shape as the ending for them. The issue that we're faced with right now is that maybe not for consoles, but for Steam, it's a downward trend, man. Now, the good thing is this. Hold on. The good thing is this. October 2024, which was the launch of Revenant, you had 36,000 average, right? Whereas February 2025, we have 40,000. So there is an uptick season to season. And for good reason, Heresy is a good season. But regardless, though, it is lower numbers. All right. Anyways, we probably yapped about it enough today, guys. I just wanted to gauge y'all's thoughts, how you feel about it. There definitely seems to be some pullback in the scope of content, of which we did bring up in the video when we said that there's definitely a pullback. The biggest selling points are the systematic and sandbox changes. And here's the thing, man. It's a good chance that may not be sexy for you. Now, if you're in for it for the lore and the story, you know, we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. And hopefully it's compelling enough for all of us, as that's going to be setting us up for the next few years. This expansion being incredibly important, as that's going to set the tone. But there's no big ticket item. There's no, here's the new subclass, or you know, something super crazy. And I think I've even seen a few comments that people don't seem that impressed with Kepler either. Am I hyped for Edge of Fates? I'm cautiously optimistic, and that's where I always stay, guys. That's where I always stay. I'm cautiously optimistic. I said it yesterday in our video, though, that the whole Metrovania style may not appeal to you, and it is a different take. But it's Bungie trying something. Maybe not being bold in the way you want them to be bold, but it's them trying something. Who knows? We may get in there. Maybe you guys love it. Maybe you guys are like, dude, this is dope. I love exploring territories and areas with these abilities, and we'll see, man.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.